welcome to the Roarcast, presented by Jag One Physical Therapy. I don't know if everybody's gonna know it this week, Mike, but we are live right now on Twitch.
The first time ever, we are actually live. Me and you doing it.
Big things right now. We want to give a quick shout out as I'm looking at our new follower list from today. Kelly, and I'm gonna mess this up. Kelly Ehrenberg. We're just gonna go with that. 27 minutes ago, gave us a follow on Twitch. So we hope Kelly's watching the episode and enjoying the episode this morning. And we got Brendan Bissett, eBissett01 in the chat. Hey guys, love the stream. Look at him.
Thanks, Brendan. Love you too.
He said love the stream. He didn't say love you. He just said he loved the stream.
There's a lot of good work behind the scenes once.
Brendan Bissett, our ticketing and marketing coordinator. He's in a meeting right now, but he told us he would jump in and pop in the chat while we were live for a little bit. But Mike, now that we're over the fact that we're live, we got a good episode, I think, coming up this morning for everybody.
Yeah, we're in the season, as you can see. Kyle's at Citi Field right now.
I am.
Stay away from the Mets home opener, and I guess I'm in the football press box overlooking Robertson Field at Satow Stadium. That's where this.
You could be in the elevator shaft.
Could be there too.
Looking out the window. But yeah, we got all four baseball captains coming up, right?
Yep. We have Josh Nicoloff, Joshua Solomon, Matt Cerfolio, and Billy Black. So we get to hear what they've been up to. Get to talk about what's going on with their team and what they've been up to. And we talk a little bit of baseball with them too. So it's just it's a fun episode. Then, Kyle, you were able to talk to a couple members of the softball team. And
that's right. We got. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Thought you were just throwing it to me. I got Maria Pagane. There's a whole debate during the episode about how to say her last name because she doesn't really know how to say her last name. She's decided, I think, when she started taking Italian, that her last name should be pronounced differently than how it's been. Hey, Jen Teague in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Jen Teague, head coach of the softball team. She's listening in. Hey, guys, shout out to Jen Teague. So, Jen, you picked a good episode to come in. This is the first time we've ever actually been doing a live intro. So we're glad you are in the chat joining us. We hope you enjoy the episode. Like I said, Maria Pagane. We're going to have a whole discussion about that. And Kat LoVerde, a sophomore on the team. Jen Teague just signed up for Twitch. She's a Twitcher for life now, Mike.
we're just bringing people to the platform. I mean,
we are.
Needs to recognize us and give us a little bit more bumps so we can get some more followers.
That's right. Well, Jen Teague just followed us 1 minute ago, so shout out to Jen Teague for the follow. Thank you very much. She's got to let all the other coaches know on the head coaches call. I think they have those every Thursday. So tomorrow, Jen, got to let all the head coaches know. Give us follows. We need the follows. All right, she's got us. She's got us. She's got us. All right. Well, Mike. It's been, like we said, it was opening week for Major League Baseball, so we thought this was a great week to bring on our baseball and softball student athletes. So, good episode ahead. We hope you enjoyed this live intro, but now we're going to throw it to the recorded section, the edited section, if you will. Break the fourth wall there. And we got baseball coming up first, so we're going to send it to commercial break, and when we come back, you will hear from the four baseball captains. So, stick around.
At Athletic Brewing Company, we've built America's first craft non-alcoholic brewery. We've created a lineup of award-winning non-alcoholic beers. Our beers are made with organic grains and start at only 50 calories. Athletic beers are perfect for anyone who loves being healthy and active, but also loves to enjoy great-tasting beer with friends. To give us a try, go to athleticbrewingcompany.com and use code ATHLETIC20 for 20% off your first order.
We all know what comes with being a fan, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. Share a Coke with a friend. Coca-Cola, the official beverage of the Columbia Lions.
We take care of the whole recovery process, getting them back to the level they were before they got injured, and many times even better. What's involved is preserving dreams.
The first thing I do with any athlete is figure out their goals and then try to make a plan based upon that.
One of the things that people don't quite understand about team physicians is how invested we are in these people's lives. We don't look at you as a guy with a shoulder problem. We try to understand what it is that makes you tick.
Welcome back. We're first joined by our 4 baseball captains. We've got Billy Black, Matt Cerfolio, Josh Nicoloff, and Joshua Solomon.
Can't see. I was going to say, can't see Josh on the screen right now.
Yeah.
But
Solomon's making his second appearance on the Roarcast, so welcome back, Josh. You're tied for most career appearances, so it's another record that we can put you in the record books for.
Of course, go for it.
Josh is on the move. Josh Nicoloff's on the move. He just got done with a doctor's appointment, so he'll be joining us shortly when he gets settled in. But guys, thanks so much for taking some time this morning. Good to see you all.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be on.
So like we said, you guys are the 4 captains of this year's squad. Obviously, very unique circumstances. We're still towards the end of a pandemic. So what have you guys been, let's just start with you, Billy. What have you guys been up to try to stay in shape and stay ready, and just give everybody an idea of what this last year has been like for you all?
So after last spring got canceled, I got set up to go to the Northwoods. So last summer I played in Wisconsin it was an abbreviated season. It was about 50 games. And then after that, I came home during the fall and I quarantined for a little bit, and then I started training in New Jersey. So I live in Connecticut. I was driving like an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back each day. It's called Rockland Peak Performance. The coaches recommended it. I worked out with Dylan Betances a few times, which was cool.
I read he was working out there. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's even bigger in person. 6'7" is really, really tall. So yeah, I've just been working out there ever since. And then the seniors all moved to Jersey City, and we've just been living together and working out since then.
Yeah, because it looks like you and Matt are in the same house. So Matt, tell us about living together and kind of getting everybody back together in these unique circumstances.
Yeah, living together has been awesome. I think the biggest thing over the last year has been uncertainty with the season and uncertainty with kind of the school year as well, whether or not we'd be able to get back on campus, live together for our final year. So we kind of try to take matters into our own hands at the start of the spring semester. And we knew we all wanted to live together our last semester, and got some plans down, made it happen, and it's been awesome. There's been 5 of us living together. Josh actually just got up from California and kind of reunited with us last night, which was awesome. It's the first time I've seen him in over a year now, which is crazy to think, but it's been a lot of fun to have the guys all together and living in one house. It's been an awesome experience.
Joshua, are you back in California, or where are you right now?
Yeah, I'm in California. Much like Billy, I was able to go to not the Northwoods, but I was in the Expedition League for around 45 games in North Dakota. And then I came home and was still working out at the same place since the beginning of quarantine, basically right when the season got canceled. And then about a month and a half ago, I went out to Arizona and was working out with a lot of the pitchers that were sent out there. And now I'm home. I just had surgery, so that's why I'm home early.
Yeah. Kyle, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I was going to say, talk about, if one of you can talk about your experience in, one of these places you went to work out, like how it all worked with social distancing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can jump in. So RPP, where I work out, there's a limited number of slots for people to fill, and you always have to have your mask on. But other than that, it still feels like a relatively normal training environment. Like you can work one-on-one with a guy. There are strength coaches there. It hasn't really changed that much for my experience, other than a limited capacity.
I'll jump in. The gym I work out at home was a little different, but pretty similar. They had slots, so they would do 6 people to an hour and then 15 minutes for like a cleaning period. And then as numbers started dropping, he was working with the city, and he was able to kind of have open hours, but he would still separate it like pro, college, and high school guys. So it was still kind of separated. And as long as you're out of there within a good amount of time, then there was no problem. And then the place out in Arizona was the same deal. It was just high school, college, and pro times. And the gym was pretty big. There was no real reason for you're never really that close to anyone. Kind of natural social distancing. And then they would do the same thing. They would do a 15-minute cleaning period after each group.
So I guess my experiences back home in Alabama were different. I worked out at a Lifetime gym, and it was essentially after October. They opened up their gym floor, essentially normal business. So that was good to have, but people certainly took their own precautionary measures with wearing masks and whatnot. They did a good job of cleaning all the equipment as well. And then as far as the baseball aspect, I had a cage in a facility I would go to that they were more affected by COVID. So it was harder to get in there. But around November, December, things opened up and I was able to get in and get some swings in there.
Matt, I wanted to, so you mentioned you're from Alabama and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Your brother played at Yale. Talk a little bit about your background, and did you moved around a little bit when you were growing up, right? Or you?
So I did not. I was born and raised in Alabama. My childhood was a lot of dealing with academics. My dad was a doctor, so he was pushing academics as well as athletics. He played college sports as well, and seeing my oldest brother play at Yale, I kind of had a familiarity with the Ivy League. And my freshman year of high school, I knew I wanted to play at the Ivy League. I actually printed out like a little poster of the Ivy League logo and put it on my bedroom mirror. So I had that goal in mind from an early age. And then throughout the recruiting process, I was talking to some different schools. And after my senior year of high school, I actually decided to do a postgraduate year at a school in Andover, Massachusetts, just 30 minutes away from Boston. And that was an awesome experience for me. It helped me kind of prepare myself for college first, but also meet a lot of new types of people, being somebody who grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. And then eventually was able to have the opportunity to go to Columbia and play baseball in New York City, which has been an awesome experience.
So 2018, we're playing Yale in the Ivy League championship. What was going through your brother's mind? What were those conversations like?
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun for me. Definitely, Yale was a team that the coaches, my family was close to them, my brother and my dad particularly. So it was a weird experience through the recruiting process for me. They were a team that pretty much never thought I was good enough to play there. So I kind of had the chip on my shoulder, I guess, playing them. They were actually the first Ivy League team that we played with against my freshman year. So that experience was certainly interesting, playing third base and having their coach just standing right next to me the whole game. We talked a little bit, but not too much. I think my dad wanted me to maybe be a little more conversational than I was, but yeah, no, the Ivy League championship was awesome. It was definitely a payoff for beating not only Yale, but the school my brother went to as well. There's some bragging rights in the family that come up certainly every now and then. So.
Nice. Why don't you guys walk us through some, Billy and Matt, we'll keep going on the 18 championship. What was that like coming in as a first year, as Josh is getting back from his appointment here? We'll see him in a second. Matt, you were rookie of the year that year for the team. What was it like, kind of coming in and be able to get the team back on top after a couple of years after the three-peat? Just talk about, just what that series was like. I mean, obviously 2 epic games, 2 pitchers duels, and trying to get in that championship in 18.
Yeah, I think a lot of it for me was being able to learn the culture and learn kind of how Columbia baseball did things from the older guys. I came in and I watched Julian's freshman year pretty closely. So he was somebody that I knew coming in I wanted to learn a lot from just because he was so successful. And then learning from guys like Joe and Randall, kind of how they approached practice every day, how they approached games every day, made it easy for me to kind of come in and fit into the Columbia baseball culture and kind of what the coaches expected of me. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, that series was back and forth, and I remember game 2 just being one of the longer games I ever played. And I actually remember not even looking at the scoreboard for about 4 innings there in extra innings and running out. And I heard the guy announce saying we were in the 15th inning, and I just looked over at Joe and we just started laughing that we were in the 15th inning. But yeah, man, that was just an awesome experience, having all the team's hard work kind of throughout the whole season. The long fall days, the long days in the weight room kind of pay off there, and dogpile on Yale's field. That was awesome.
Kyle had a first row seat.
I was going to bring it up. I, stood in a very, I'm going to say poor spot as I ran onto the field, and the broadcast camera has my butt just standing there with the video camera trying to get the close up of the dog pile. So
nice.
Yeah. It's all right. It was worth it. It was good video we got out of that.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that sticks out to me from that series is, Randall obviously got hurt before it was at Cornell, and then he missed the last regular season weekend, and he bounced back and was able to play. And I don't think Yale was expecting him to play. And he comes out and starts taking BP, and then you just see the Yale coaches just shuffling around, like moving all their stuff around, like having conversations like he's not supposed to play, kind of like, kind of a Willis Reed moment, if you will. They were not expecting him to play at all, and just seeing their reaction, watching him take BP before he went out there for game 1 is something like I'll just never forget.
A giant shoulder brace on. I don't know
how. Yeah, it was unbelievable. And then he homers in the regional a couple weeks later, or like a month later. Like the first home run of the tournament. It was an incredible run. So Josh, thanks for joining us. Hope you're feeling well. Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, because we'll catch everybody up before we get going.
Yeah. Basically, I was just doing everything with Solo, like every day. We work out at the same place. We field every day. We hit every day together. Then obviously I had my surgery, my first one in December. So I was just kind of doing PT like 5 times a week before kind of just going to the field and to the gym with him. But yeah, we were just basically just doing everything together, just lifting, working out, staying in shape, all the stuff kind of necessary.
Change gears for a little based, on the background that I have today. I don't know how many Mets fans we have in the house, but it is finally on the day we're recording this, opening day for the Mets. And this past weekend was opening weekend for Major League Baseball. So what do we got? Who's in the house? We have Mets fans, we have Yankees fans, we have others fans. What do we got?
Mets.
Go Angels. Ooh.
All right.
Go Dodgers.
Okay.
And then Matt doesn't like baseball, so he doesn't have
Matt, you don't have a favorite team? Is it because you're from Alabama and there's no team down there?
So that's a big part of it. A big part of it is the lack of professional sports teams. My brother actually works for the Indians, though, so I kind of pull for them just for the free playoff tickets and whatnot. So
okay, you'll be a fan of whatever team you wind up playing for one day. That's really what you're waiting for.
Yes. Yeah.
So Josh Solomon, you said you're a Dodgers fan. So we looking at a repeat this year?
Of course. I mean, there's nothing else to say, really, honestly.
I was watching over the weekend. I was watching. Was it the Rockies? They were playing the Rockies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've liked Walker Buehler for a long time, and he looked good. Well, he looked good the few innings I was watching. I forget what happened in the game that he was pitching the other day. I think they did wind up winning, right?
I didn't actually watch the Dodger game.
Oh, I thought you were a Dodgers fan.
Oh, you're a good fan.
We get blackout dates here. They don't let us watch any of the Dodger games.
It's true, and actually, it's true. We don't get it.
Nicoloff, what did you think of Otani last night? Going deep and
It's like he's probably gonna win MVP 3 years in a row if I had to guess.
he can stay healthy.
Bold prediction.
Yeah, he's a stud though. Angels are gonna win the pennant.
If he stops walking people, maybe he'll be okay.
Oh my goodness.
Billy, what's your outtake on the
Mets?
Mets?
They might go. They're on pace for 162-0 right now. We'll see if they
Undefeated. Undefeated. I don't know if they'll still be by the time this podcast airs, but
if they play today, best opening day team in history. So
we are. That's true. That's true. This podcast is hosted by 2 Mets fans, so
as you can tell by Kyle's background.
Yes.
What are the thoughts on the Lindor deal for the Mets fans then?
I mean, I don't hate it. Well, I mean, what's to hate, right?
Elite player in a elite position, yeah.
Yeah. What's to?
Not my money.
No. Uncle Steve. Steve's got all the money.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, they got a few other decisions to make with Conforto and Syndergaard and stuff. So see how it goes. It should be fun though. I mean, their lineup's really deep. I mean, they could have McNeil hitting 6th or 7th. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, we won't everybody with our baseball breakdown. That'll be a new spin-off podcast if anybody wants to join.
Yeah. Mike and I are just going to host a Mets podcast.
There's not enough of those out there.
Yeah, really. Oh, it's funny.
So Billy, I want to throw it back to you because you're in a unique situation too. You were a student worker for our staff and you worked some football games and some stuff in the fall. So what are some highlights from working with us from your previous 3 years?
Throw them on the spot.
Yeah.
It's a tough question. That was a long time ago.
It's like, I don't know.
My biggest highlight would be probably I was on the chain gang and I was talking to this random Wagner football player and he seemed like a really nice guy. I just assumed that he was probably like a bench warmer or something. And he goes, all right, I got to go, and puts his helmet on and he was the starting quarterback.
Billy, basically, I asked you that question because we're trying to recruit when we come back in the fall. We need a whole reload with student workers. So
the chain gang was fun. Yeah.
But the chain gang, I mean, he was a student worker for facilities then.
Yeah, but he did stuff for us too.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was
a good time. Recommend it.
You heard it here. If you want to be a student worker in a communications office, it's a good time. There's a lot of food in the press box.
No, the press box, when I did that was stressful, but it's still
fun. That's what
we do.
I just didn't want to mess up.
What were you doing?
Billy, you were probably PA spotter a couple times. Did you do scoreboard?
Thank God I didn't have to do the what's it called, the red glove, whatever.
The red hat. Yeah.
Red hat, yeah.
That is a stressful job.
For football, it can be stressful.
Yeah, for football, it's a very stressful job, especially when we go to timeouts when the coaches don't want us to go to timeouts. And it's just like, guys, you don't control that. Sorry. Like we get an interception, we got to go to commercial break. Like, what are you going to do? So, obviously, it's unfortunate that you guys aren't playing, but a lot of your teammates have picked up grad years other places, and talk about how you've kept tabs with them and how you've kept in touch. I mean, I know like Liam and Ben especially have had really good starts to their season. So what do you think about what they're doing? I'm sure you're not surprised.
No, I mean, definitely just seeing like hitters wise, just like Liam and Jules just kind of doing their thing. Definitely super like exciting. Just kind of see that, just kind of like supports the idea that like guys for our team can play anywhere. Like it doesn't really matter. Like Jules and Liam were obviously 2 of the better hitters, like, in our program, and just seeing them have success is really exciting. It's fun to just keep up with them about it.
Yeah. I saw Jules' OBP was essentially what it was, and when he was at Columbia, just always getting on base. But I was looking more closely at his stats and he didn't have any extra base hits. So I kind of was joking with him to hit a double, and Julian, being Julian, got a little too upset about it. But yeah, no, seeing them have the success that they have, I don't think is really surprising, but it is cool to see them have the success that they are having at other places.
Yeah, just as a recap, so Julian Barry's at Loyola Marymount, for those that don't know. Liam McGill's at Bryant. Ben Wareski's at Rutgers. I think he was 2-0, 3-0 going into last weekend. I didn't see what Rutgers did last weekend. And Will West is at Rice. I don't think he's gotten in a game yet. And AJ DiFilippo is playing somewhere.
Absent, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So this guy's kicking around. So good to see them going and kind of turning our attention back to this current team. I mean, for the seniors on the call, what's kind of your message to this group as they're going to move forward into next spring season?
I would say like the underclassmen on the team right now you're talking about. Okay, yeah, I would just say just keep working hard. I mean, like Matt talked about earlier in the podcast, there's really no better feeling than dogpiling and winning an Ivy League championship, getting that experience to go to a regional. So just keep that in the back of your head when on, let's say, a random day in the summer you don't feel like working out. Just keep that as motivation.
Yeah, one thing I'd say is come ready to compete. Our class was fortunate enough to have a lot of guys that played, whether it be in the field or in the rotation. So next year there's going to be a lot of open spots on the field. Everybody wants to come in and play. That's natural, but I think it's especially going to be an interesting situation to watch next year with a lot of open spots and a lot of competition with young guys, older guys. So I think just come ready to compete every day because there's going to be a lot of opportunities for playing time.
Just like to also build off that, just use that competition just to kind of promote you growing closer to each other, just because obviously throughout the 4 years we had to compete for playing time just with each other, with guys we were close with, and honestly just embracing that competition and enjoying it, you just get so much closer with everyone because you're both just working towards the same goal, both putting in work. You're around each other every single moment of practice and stuff, and it's definitely one of the more exciting and fun parts of practice and being a part of a team. So yeah, just embrace that competition and use it to grow, within yourself and like just grow the relationships of the guys you're competing against.
I'm on the team, so
yeah, you're going to be back next year. So, but like, I guess
that was all good advice for you. That was all good advice.
Yeah.
It's up to you to carry that message on. No pressure.
There was like a little pause there, and I was like, "Well, I mean,
no, I know. I was going to try to chime in.
Spot.
Yeah. So, what do you think it's going to be like with a lot of new faces next year, Solomon? Like, just talk about what you think it's going to be like coming back in the fall, and what are going to be some key things that you guys need to get done to make sure you're ready for the spring?
Well, I think the hardest part is we need to get to know 2 new classes and still get to know what will be the junior class. Holy cow. So I think that's going to be the hardest part, getting basically half the team to kind of buy into the culture. They haven't had that experience yet. But I know my class and the class below us, the class below us still has to learn a lot. And as do we haven't really we've only been on campus for about a year. So I think that's definitely going to be the hardest part. But we've been starved from being on campus for so long that I think it'll just come naturally. Dudes will just buy in just because they're excited to be on campus. So I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be exciting to see who wins the starting spots because like Surf said, there's a lot of open spots now. Pitchers and hitters alike. So it'll be really interesting to see what our team looks like going into the spring.
Yeah, I feel like because the layoff has been so long from actually playing in games that it's like when you guys all come in, it's like nobody has a spot. It's just
yeah. And like dudes who come back who aren't the same players anymore, like the worst dude on the team could now be the best dude on the team, and we would have no idea until we find out in the spring. So like people who think that they have a spot somewhere on the field, that could be taken away from them pretty quickly, just because dudes have changed so much, hopefully for the better.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting. I'm excited.
Real quick before we let you guys go, I want to ask, so what do you think is going to be kind of the hardest aspect of the game to kind of get back into the flow of, or back in the swing of, like, obviously, live hitting, right, and stuff like that. But I also think, for me, I would think, one of the hardest aspects of the game would be kind of like working like as middle infielders, for example, right? Like trying to turn that double play and not having like not having done that, and knowing your shortstop, knowing your second baseman, things like that. So what do you think, Josh? You as a baseball player.
Nico, me? Oh, I'm an
Yeah.
outfielder, but
I know. No, I'm just saying. I was
No,
giving you
yeah,
an example. Yeah.
I think the hardest part will be for some hitters will definitely be the live pitching, like the live tracking, and then for pitchers, like just competing, it's a lot different. From what I've heard, I'm not a pitcher. I've never been one, but from what I've heard, throwing a bullpen versus competing against live hitters is a lot different. There's a different energy level. And same with the fall too. Like we don't play in front of a ton of fans in the fall, especially during scrimmages. There's no fans. It's just us. So competing in front of people kind of gives you that adrenaline rush and kind of gets your heart going. And that's a different feeling than when you're scrimmaging. So
Yeah,
for
one
hitters,
thing
when your adrenaline's growing, it's a lot harder to relax.
One thing I'd add on to that is I know guys have been playing summer ball and getting at bats, trying to get live as much as possible. But in the Ivy League, the doubleheader days are long days, and missing out on a full season of playing those long days where it's usually typically close games in the Ivy League, and you're playing 2 games in one day and 3 games on a weekend can be tough. So just trying to maintain that energy and stamina for a whole weekend, I think will be something that'll be interesting to watch from the stands, I guess, next year.
So that leads me to my last question for the seniors on the call. Let us know what's next for you all. You have extra eligibility. I think at least 2 of you are going to use them. Matt, I haven't heard I talk to you much, but why don't you let everybody know what your plans are?
Yeah, so I am not. I'm not playing next year. I took a lot of time to think about it, but overall, I think the group of guys that I played with couldn't have been a better group. I'm super thankful for the time I had at Columbia, and I decided the best decision for me was to not use my extra year of eligibility and look more towards what's next after baseball.
Do you have an idea of what that's going to be?
I'm in the job interview process now. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple places, so we'll see.
Nice. Good luck with everything. How about you, Billy
Yeah,
and Josh?
thank you. Appreciate it.
Josh, you can go first. You're already settled.
So yeah, I actually committed to Kansas State to play there next year. So
the Little Apple, from the Big Apple to the Little Apple.
Yeah, exactly. Super stoked about that. I just want to keep continuing to play baseball basically for as long as I possibly can. It's kind of my goals in life, I guess.
Yeah, for me, I'm still undecided, but I applied to Columbia. Hopefully that works out. That would be my first option. But if it doesn't, then I'll look elsewhere for my 5th year, maybe like a Vanderbilt or somewhere like that. We'll see.
Straight to
I know somebody at Vanderbilt. I'll put in a good word for you, Bill. Solomon, we know you're going to be back. We'll see you in left field, hopefully next year.
Not center, bro.
Center field.
Center field? The center, making the shift? All right.
Jules is gone.
You got TJ. You might as well step on the mound, Solo.
Yeah, seriously. We've done 100.
Right. That's all the time we have for our baseball seniors. It's been great catching up. Thanks, guys, so much for joining us. Good luck with everything, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's awesome.
So that'll do it for part 1. We'll be back with part 2. We'll be joined by some members of the softball program. Kyle will probably be back with them. I might join them if I've got the time.
You might. I now know what time, and I think you'll be able. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if you're done with your errands by then.
We'll see. I don't know when we're recording this, so it's a mystery.
We'll be joined by Maria Pagane and Kat LoVerde from the softball team, so stick around.
Nice.
Cool. Thank you.
That's how we got that scheduled while we're on the call.
I got it scheduled while we were on the call. Yeah.
They say you play basketball, you play football, you play tennis, but you can't play boxing. You have to fight. I remember the night where it went completely downhill. It was a massive tumor that had wrapped itself around my spine. Dr. Hartle, who was my surgeon, he aced it. They resurrected me. On August 9th, 2014, I became the WBA middleweight champion of the world.
John, we're outside of Jag 1. Tell us why this place is so important to your patients.
We're serving New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania as an outpatient physical therapy and occupational therapy center. We've worked very hard in the last 2 years to bring us close to 100% in-network in all our facilities. We treat every type of pathology and illness and surgical intervention, taking that patient's needs and building the rehab program around that goal and attaining the goal.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Roarcast, presented by Jag 1 Physical Therapy. I'm your host for this part of the episode, Kyle Matrician. It's just going to be me flying solo for this part. Mike Kowalski, my co-host, had to do dinner time. It's Monday night at the Kowalski household, and he's got 2 kids, and it's dinner time. So just going to be me interviewing senior Maria Pagane from the softball team and sophomore Kat LoVerde from the softball team. So first of all, I want to thank the 2 of you for taking the time to join me tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's my understanding that the both of you are on campus, correct? Or near campus?
Yeah, I'm living in an apartment off campus right now.
Nice.
And I'm living on campus.
You're living on campus. All right. So the 2 of you are participating in phased athletic activity, correct?
Yeah.
I hope so, because that's why we invited you on the podcast. If not, get off. So I want to give some of our listeners a little bit of insight into how that's going from the softball team perspective, from your perspectives, kind of pick your brains a little bit. So Maria, I'm going to start with you. You being a senior, phased athletic activity is very different from what practice would be. So kind of just give everybody the ins and outs of what you are allowed to do and how that's different from a regular practice.
Okay. So right now, phased athletic activity is limited to 10 people, which is kind of perfect because we have 11 people here, but 10 participating in practice. So we can have all the people present on the field at the same time because our sport naturally allows us to socially distance. So it kind of works out perfectly in that sense. But it's just kind of weird because we would be in spring right now, which means if we were practicing, we'd be practicing 6 days a week, 3 hours a day. And we are kind of doing like a half off season, half in season practice schedule. Like during the week, we practice Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And that's more in individual settings. Like I'll practice with one other person while we're hitting, or a few other people at a time, and then we'll lift. And on Saturday, we're in like full spring practice where we'll have a 3-hour practice. So it's just weird adjusting because I feel like we're in the off season and then we'll have that really long 3-hour practice and it hits you like it would in season, but it's just so fun to be like back and with everyone.
All right, Kat, and like I said, you're a sophomore. Your freshman season got cut short by the pandemic. I believe the team played 10 games before the season was canceled last year. And, this season, unfortunately, never got started. But participating in phased athletic activity, you get to go to Baker Field and I assume take some ground balls, maybe practice turning the double plays as a middle infielder. So what is it that you're allowed to do? You and Maria, we got 2 middle infielders.
Yeah, I think Maria covered it pretty well. I would say we do get to lift together as a team on Fridays, which is really nice because it gives us back into that team setting, hyping each other up, which is really fun. Again, with Saturday practices, together as a team, Maria and I, yes, turning those double plays, it's really fun and it feels very normal, which is nice considering the circumstances where everything, prior to this has just been kind of chaos. So it's good to have some kind of, normalcy back, some scheduling. It's nice.
When you're on the field at Baker, I know Maria touched on a lot of this, but from your perspective, actually in, doing like fielding ground balls, anything like that, how normal does it feel compared to what a regular practice would be?
I think it feels as normal as possible for the circumstances right now because we are missing so much of our team. We're also, socially distanced as much as possible when we can be, which is like Maria said, on the field. We can be socially distanced, in the dugout, we do our best. We have really great crews that come and everything that we touch, we take back to the locker room and they clean it. So it feels very safe and it feels normal in that aspect. But it's different.
All right, well, I wanted to pick your brains first and see how Faye's athletic activity was going. But now I kind of, what we like to do on this podcast is get everybody to know our guests a little bit. And the first thing I want to bring up is Maria. I brought it up before we started the podcast. One of the most interesting moments I've ever had in getting to know somebody, student athlete in my entire life, your first year on campus, when I normally go around on headshot day and I ask everybody, I want to make sure I say your name correctly. So, for the PA and everything like that. And so I get to Maria and I'm like, all right, Maria, is it Pagane? And she's like, I don't really know. You can say it any way you want. And I was like, that is a first for me. So please, Maria, explain yourself. And how do you say your name now?
Okay, so growing up, I feel like my parents always said Pagane. So I feel like it is Pagane, but my teachers and my friends always said Pagane. So I kind of just said both. I acclimated to what I was called at school, and I just threw both out there. They kind of sound familiar to me. Like, I don't really see that big of a difference. So I use them interchangeably, but then people are so aghast when I say like Pagane.
They are, myself included.
Sentence, but I'm pretty sure it's Pagane. I think the original spelling had an I at the end.
Okay.
So now that I've taken Italian at Columbia, I can assert that it is Pagane. But sometimes just to keep you on your toes, I might say Pagane.
It's going to be, I don't know. Are you, well, I should ask you, because you're a senior this year, are you potentially planning to come back and play a fifth year at Columbia, or is that still up in the air?
Potentially. It's definitely something I'm considering. I am looking to applying to a master's, a 1-year master's, because my end goal is to go to medical school. So I was going to be taking a gap year regardless. So might as well play if I can, but we'll see how that works out.
I think I had an interesting conversation with you at one point over the last year where I forget what we were talking about or why I needed to speak. I was speaking to you about something. I don't know if it was a different interview, but we were talking about the pandemic, and you just reminded me of this by saying you wanted to go into the medical field, because I hope it was you, since I dove into the story now, told me about how the virus actually spreads. And you said you learned some interesting things in your classes.
It was me.
It was you. You learned some interesting things in your classes about how, like just by passing by somebody who has it. And again, we hope nobody's taking medical advice from this podcast. Please do not. You said you learned some interesting things in your classes about, there was a lot of fear about, passing by somebody who's potentially has COVID, and that's how you're going to get it. And then you said something to me that you learned something in your class. Maybe I'll let you finish it, about it's more like the super spreader events more so than it is like getting it from one individual person.
Yeah, so they actually offer a 1-credit class on the pandemic this semester. So I opted to take it, and it's a bunch of guest lecturers that will come in and teach on like different aspects of the pandemic. So one of them is like how they make the models. One of them is like how pregnant women are affected by COVID. It's a really cool class so far, and I like it. And one of like the first things we learned was the something called like the over dispersion parameter. I don't want to get like too into it, but basically it just talks.
Please use the language on us.
It basically just talks about if I were to get COVID like from someone else, the odds of me passing it to another person are 10%. So only 10% of people are actually going to spread the virus once you are infected, but it's those 10% of people that happen to be the super spreaders. If that makes sense.
Yes. I think I remember why you brought this story up to me now is because I was talking to you and I was saying how one of my friends had the virus, and his wife had it, and she was a healthcare worker. And then he didn't get it, and they live in the same household. And I was like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And then you told me this whole story about how like really it's only like 10% of the people that can actually spread it. Maybe, or I don't know. And again, I don't know exactly how it works, but super interesting. We've turned this into a medical podcast now. That's what this is. That's what this is. Kat, any future ideas of going to med school too?
Absolutely not. That's not on the table for me. No, I'm not exactly sure yet what the future holds for me. Possibly law school, potentially a doctorate in psychology, but definitely not med school, that's for sure.
All right, getting back, changing topics a little bit. I want to do something that we've done with some of the guests that we've had on the podcast and some of our previous podcasts. And it's called, and hopefully it is, Rapid Fire. So it's kind of it's a fun game. I just want to ask you questions about yourself. I'm going to ask you quick questions, and I just want to know the first answer that comes to mind, and I'll let you give time to explain it. But sometimes rapid fire turns into what Mike likes to call a slow burn because it takes forever to get through the segment. But we'll see what happens. So because the two of you are middle infielders, I might ask you questions about each other and see how well we know each other here. This will be fun. We're not prepared for this, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Maria, in one word, describe Kat for the people who don't know her.
Ooh, okay. Calm.
Calm. Ooh, I like it. And Kat, one word, Maria.
Entertaining.
That's not, I was gonna say it's not gonna be calm. It's not gonna be calm. Definitely not gonna be calm. All right, Kat, who's your biggest role model?
My older sister.
Yeah, you gotta tell us why.
Okay. I guess growing up, she played softball also. I just really wanted to always, emulate her and be like her. And she just had such a good outlook on life, like extremely hardworking, just like kind of embodies like who I would want to be as a person. So definitely. Her name's Christine. So shout out Christine. Yeah.
Maria, I'm not gonna ask you this question. So Maria, favorite home cooked meal?
Ooh,
something good in Italian, I got to imagine.
I've been cooking a lot, and I gotta say, like a good hearty salad.
A good hearty salad is a favorite home cooked meal. Okay, what's in the good hearty salad?
All right, I make my own croutons.
You make your own croutons.
I do.
Okay.
I roast some chickpeas. I'll do spinach, some sort of seed, like some sort of like dried cranberry or some sort, and then like usually balsamic vinaigrette.
Nice.
Don't knock it till you try it.
I was gonna say, has making your own salads something that happened during the pandemic since you can't go down the street anymore? I assume I feel like I don't know if I'd be comfortable. Maybe I don't know. Maybe some people are, but like, what's the place down the street from Columbia that had that big salad bar? And
Sweet Green.
What's the name?
Sweet Green. I love Sweet Green.
I don't know if it was Sweet Green, but
there's so many salads. Sweet Green.
Say it was.
Milano.
I think it was Milano. It was Milano. They had like you had to like pick 6 items. Yep. I would do that when I was on campus, although my office wasn't really on campus, so it wasn't every day. But
my dorm is so far from Broadway, so it's so much easier to make it myself.
Okay, solid, fair. Are you living with? And I guess I've kind of gone on a tangent here from rapid fire, but you said you're on campus. Are you living with any of your teammates?
I'm not living with any of my teammates. I am living with 2 athletes though. Okay. I'm living with Caitlin Schultz and Maddie Ward on the volleyball team.
Oh, nice.
Volleyball.
Nice. Did you kind of just get thrown into that situation, or?
That was completely random.
I was gonna say I didn't know. I don't remember seeing you at volleyball games too much.
I mean, I am pretty close with some of the volleyball girls, but I didn't know them that well, and now we're best buds. So it ended up working out really well.
That's cool. I was gonna say I know Caitlin and Madeline Ward from volleyball from my time covering the volleyball team. It's been a year or two, but they were on the team. They were on the team when I was still covering them. So those are nice girls, good roommates. I approve. In case you were wondering, I approve. Kat, you're living off campus. Do you live with any of your teammates?
Sadly, no. I'm living with 3 non-athletes, so it's been really fun, really different. It's been good.
Good perspective.
Yeah, definitely. That's for sure.
Are they interested in how the whole phase athletic activity is going, and did they ask you a lot of questions about it, or?
Not like a ton of questions. They were like really upset that we didn't get a season because they were like knew how upset I was last year that it got canceled, and then had a own kind of like party of like just being upset about the season being canceled. No, but they've just been really supportive of the whole thing. They don't know like a ton about softball, so it's been nice to try and explain it to them. But yeah, it's been really good.
You guys are recruiting new fans though, so when we do,
we're doing our best. I think we'll have at least 1 or 2 new fans for sure. So I'm trying my best.
I mean, I think the atmosphere at Columbia Softball Stadium when we've got home games going on, the atmosphere is pretty good, Maria. Right?
It's pretty electric.
Yeah.
We create a fun vibe.
We do. I mean, the stands behind home plate are not like there's not a lot of sitting room there, right? I mean, but you could probably pack if you had it packed pre-pandemic, pre-social distance. You could probably pack. What do you think? Like 150, 200 people in there, or is that too many?
Yeah, like 100, 150.
I wonder what the official capacity is. I should know that as the SID, but I don't.
Probably should.
I don't. It's probably the official. Whatever's listed is probably way too many people. It's probably would never fit that many. Although because I think if you line people along the fence down first base, you can stand down third base line. I think too. Are you allowed?
Allison is there down first base line every single game. Our strength coach Allison. Shout out Allison.
Yep. But I was gonna say, yeah, you guys definitely create a fun atmosphere, and I try to do my best with like the sound effects and the
walk-up songs are always a good time.
The walk-up songs. Did I ever actually? I don't know if it's gonna make the podcast. Did I ever actually? I always said that I wanted to one time just play a song. What's the name? It's just called like Maria Maria.
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
No, it's not that one. I'll have to play it a different time. But one time I just wanted to like surprise you and play it and throw you off. So hopefully I get to do that.
Hopefully.
I think one game I'm just gonna pick songs for all of you, and it's not gonna no song is gonna be one that you picked.
That'd be fun.
That'd be really fun.
That'd be electric.
Be electric. It's amazing. So we did bring it up a little bit before, and Kat, you said your roommates were pretty upset when the season got canceled, and I do want to talk about the season getting canceled, and I do want to know your feelings on it. It's got to be tough when you see a lot of other conferences playing. I think that's the toughest part this year. Whereas last year everything was getting canceled. There was everybody knew, everybody understood. It was upsetting, but I think everybody could come to the realization that that's what it was. And then this year, it's definitely tough. I think being an Ivy League athlete and seeing, it's not every school that's playing, but it's, there's a lot of schools playing. And so maybe Maria, I'll start with you as a senior. How do you, maybe as a senior leader on the team, kind of like rationalize that and try and like, what's like the message to the team,
Me and Abby were talking about this when we first started practicing. Like, obviously, like not to beat around the bush, like it really sucks, like not being able to play, and it's obviously heartbreaking, especially because it will be my last season. But being in phase athletic practices right now is just the morale is so high. We're not preparing for anything. There are no stakes. Like obviously, we're preparing for next season, but we're not going to be in competition for another year. So we're just playing together, having a fun time, and literally just like taking hacks. And practices have been like funner than they've ever been. I feel good as a player, like kind of better than I've ever felt as a player. And it is nice going, potentially this being my last set of practices with the team. It's nice going out feeling this way at practices.
That's good. That's good perspective, because I think for people, a lot of people on the outside wouldn't know like the vibe during practice, or phase athletic activity. So it's good to hear your perspective on that. And Kat, would you echo that, like the vibe at practice, just kind of there's no immediate pressure, you guys are preparing for next year, but there's no like urgency.
Yeah, no, I definitely think considering that we had taken a year off prior to this, like coming back and like being like thrown into like game situations definitely would have been a little stressful. So it's kind of nice to like, kind of like get back into it. It's just nice being with the girls. I definitely like agree with Maria. Like it's just been like a really fun atmosphere, like very relaxed, and it makes you like appreciate the game a lot more, I think, and appreciate the relationships that you form from it. Definitely.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for this portion of our episode. We want to thank Kat LoVerde and Maria
Pagane.
Got it. I wanted you to give the. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I have Pagane stuck in my head. It's always going to be Pagane in my head because that's how we've said it your entire career. So, we want to thank the two of them for joining us, and hopefully the phase athletic activity continues to go well, and hopefully as more and more people get vaccinated, we get to the point where hopefully I'm hoping and praying that over the summer, we're at a place where most people can be outside, whether you got your mask or maskless, but you wouldn't feel pretty comfortable. So I'm really hoping that's what it is. But again, thank you for taking the time joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
This has been the Roarcast presented by Jag1 Physical Therapy. For Mike Kowalski, I'm Kyle Matrician. You can catch this season's episodes on Wednesdays, streaming live Wednesday morning right here on Twitch. Episodes will also be uploaded to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. And you can listen to more episodes by Columbia Athletics. We have the Inside Columbia Basketball Podcast. We have past episodes of Captain's Corner with Football, all on all of those platforms. So once again, thanks for joining us this week, and we will talk to you again next week.